Good night, everyone. Today we're going to have live and we're going to discuss again new immigration updates you won't believe are real. We're going to talk about new Tennessee law. We're going to talk about new agency that joined ICE raids. And I'm going to give you some updates with regard to the Real ID Act. So thank you very much for joining. My name is Lena Shaltsova. I'm a New York immigration lawyer. On my social media, I regularly hold these live sessions where I share with you my updates, my thoughts on recent immigration news, share my tips with you, and answer your guys' questions. So thank you very much for joining. Please like, share this stream. Let me know where you're watching from. Hi, guys on TikTok. Hi, everybody on YouTube and Facebook. And we're going to start. Very interesting developments are happening. They're happening now every single day. And today was not an exception. We're going to talk, first of all, about a new bill, new law that was passed in Tennessee. The legislature's own attorneys advised lawmakers in Tennessee that the measure was constitutionally suspect. So what is going on? What's happening? Well, apparently in Tennessee, they decided that it's going to be a great idea to punish local lawmakers criminally if they vote for any laws that adopt sanctuary policies. And a lawmaker, a person who was elected by the residents of Tennessee, if such a person votes for sanctuary policies, now will face criminal punishment, up to $3,000 fine and up to 6 years in prison. No Democrats voted for this bill, and it seems it's highly unconstitutional. But that does not stop Tennessee. This is the news. You can't make it up. Another interesting piece of news I wanted to share with you is that, according to Fox News, FBI joined ICE raids. And not only they join the ICE raids, they provide intelligence for the ICE raids. So for all people out there who ask me a million times, how will they find us? Well, you probably know that it's very easy for FBI to find pretty much anyone in the United States who they truly want to find. So the supporting ICE raids now, not only with intelligence, but also they provide legal background. I guess they're consulting ICE agents who are doing this enforcement operations as to how to do it so that their actions are not going to be challenged successfully legally later. Very interesting development. I have to tell you, we have never seen this before. At least I've never seen it before, and I've been practicing law for the past immigration law for the past 16 years. So now we have FBI as yet another federal agency that is helping ICE to accomplish this raids and, I guess, meet the quotas that were ordered by the superiors in connection with this ICE raids. Let me know what you think about this. I guess it's all just very distressful. I'm also not sure how this whole thing is legal, but I guess we're going to find out. I'm pretty sure that ACLU is going to be addressing all this situation as well, because, as you know, FBI has access to a variety of sources when they're looking for people, including, let's say, utility bills, probably, I would think, people's tax returns, right? any other information, you pretty much leave bank records, perhaps. So we're going to see what exactly is happening with legality behind the intelligence that they're providing for the ICE officers. Now, I wanted to speak with you about something very important that many of you have been asking me recently. Who can receive real ID? You know that on May 7th, 2025, the Real ID Act is kicking in, unless, of course, it's going to be postponed one more time. And according to this law, if you would like to take a flight in the United States, even domestic flight, if you would like to have access to certain federal buildings, you must have a real ID or proof of your status, such as a US passport or a green card, for example. So people were asking me, who can receive such a real ID? Well, real ID can be received by people who have a permanent solution to their status in the United States, such as citizenship, lawful permanent residency, conditional permanent residence, and also those who have lawful temporary status. And this term is defined by the law, Real ID Act itself. It includes people who are asylee, already received asylum, who are in pending asylum status. That's probably the majority of my viewers. So if you filed for asylum and it's pending, you will be able to receive temporarily a real ID. Those who received TPS or those who filed for TPS, temporary protected status, those who have lawful non-immigrant status, and those who filed for adjustment of status. The difference is that the first group of people, those who have lawful permanent residence and those who have green cards, are going to receive standard IDs, and those who have temporary status are going to receive IDs with an expiration date. So that's what's happening. Now, how exactly it's going to be implemented depends on local DMVs, of course. There should be some uniform process, but I know that it's not uniform because clients calling me and complain about how various DMVs impose their own local rules as to what they want to see. Some of them, for example, would like to see if you have a work permit, not the work permit itself, but also an official, original approval notice confirming that you are authorized to work in the United States. So I'm sure that there will be some issues with implementation of this, but this is what it is. If you have asylum pending, you should be able to qualify for that temporary real ID, all right? As long as you have something pending going on. And now, guys, this session primarily is going to focus on questions and answers. So if you have your questions about status, about your rights during the ICE raids, please ask me and I will do my best to answer all of them, okay? I see that we do have a good amount of people watching tonight. Thank you guys for joining. Don't forget to like and share the stream so more people will be able to join. And of course, if you're watching me on TikTok, send your heart so I have energy to have this lives tonight. Hi, Aviator Dude. Hello, how are you? I'm all right. We have I-601 approval or pending. Should we be scared? Should we have those papers from immigration with us? Definitely, guys. So what I would recommend for those of you who are in process, have your receipts with you, because what may happen if you are stopped by local law enforcement in connection, for example, with a routine traffic stop, and for some reason they take it upon themselves, legally or otherwise, to question you about your immigration status. If you pull out that receipt and you show them and say, hey, listen, I'm in process, it may really save you from being detained that day. So absolutely have those papers with you. If you have approved I-601A, hopefully it means soon you're going to be traveling to receive your immigrant visa, right? If you have something pending, like adjustment of status, even asylum or I-601A waiver, have that receipt with you, okay? I think it may really help you in certain situations. Some of that stuff is not really proof of lawful status, like I-601A approval or pending I-601 is not lawful status. But at the same time, it shows that you are working towards receiving your status and you're trying to do the right thing. So it's basically at that moment when the officer decides whether or not to arrest you, hopefully they're going to make a decision not to, okay? Does having a US kid and wife help in asylum in court? Because it's dangerous for them to return to Iraq and for me as well. I came with J1 visa and I don't have time to get a waiver. Having a US citizen family members by itself does not have any effect on your asylum claim unless you're going to somehow use this fact to claim asylum based on specific specific membership in a specific social group, okay? But just because you have U.S. citizen relatives by itself, it doesn't help to win your asylum case. Now, you mentioned that you don't have time for the waiver. Why not? Even during this time, you can still ask the court to give you some time to go through the affirmative steps, waiver or whatever it is that you want to receive. But of course, if you're subject to 2-year residency requirement, you may want to choose asylum because then you don't have to bother with a J1 waiver, which is not easy to receive. Okay. All right. Thank you guys very much for your encouraging words. Okay. Hi, Rafat. I have EOIR appeal 29 pending, I-130 denied since 3 years. What do you think to keep my situation safe? File again, I-130 and I-45. Filing the same I-130 with the same evidence just doesn't make any sense unless something else is happening. If you want to refile your case, I assume you can, especially if you have a viable marriage, okay? And I think it's the better way is to ask a lawyer why they chose a strategy that they did. I think that would be the best solution in this situation, all right? And maybe you can file for something else. If you're a victim of a crime, U visa, you can try to pursue. Even though I have to tell you that after the results of the elections came out, there are many reports that law enforcement refuses to sign U visa certifications. I got this information from my colleagues. I have clients who complained. So something is happening. I guess it's going to be harder as a rule to receive that U visa certification. And unfortunately, you have really nothing to do with that. It's just the general climate that we are in right now. Hi, life is strange. How are you? Tell us about who have a VAWA pending. Okay, so if you guys have a VAWA pending, just like any pending situation, it's better than nothing. That's first of all. And usually if you're placed in removal proceedings and you have an application pending that can be decided only by USCIS, a judge will give you time to have that application decided. So it's obviously a big plus for you, right? Generally speaking, the law enforcement, unless there is some sort of a criminal situation involved, not going to bother to placing you in removal proceedings if you already have something pending. But hey, if you have a quota to meet, that may probably happen, all right? Just keep that in mind. For that reason, just be mindful as to your surroundings try to avoid usual locations where ICE may be randomly. Of course, if they have a warrant for you specifically, then you will have to comply if the warrant is signed by the judge, as many of you are aware by now. But if they don't, just have that receipt with you. If you have a prima facie determination, have that as well, okay? That may be a huge difference for you. All right. Hi, Manish. VAWA EED card. Renewal. How long will it take? All right. So if you are trying to renew C31 work permit that you received after your VAWA was approved, it takes usually 3 to 4 months. It doesn't take that long if that's the category you're asking. I mean, it used to take 3 to 4 months. I don't know what's going to happen now. Hopefully, nothing much is going to change. All right. But that's what you're looking at. Right. Let me now go to my faithful TikTok followers. Let's see. Hi. Life is short. What about withholding or removal? Will I be deported? No, you should not be deported if you have withholding or removal, because the judge who handled your case also issued an order not to deport you. Okay. Thank you very much, Mandeep, for your gift. Thank you guys for the gifts, for your roses. Hi, Rodrigo. Can I be deported if I have I-130 petition of my spouse? If your spouse filed I-130 petition for you, I-130 does not give you status. It only reserves an immigrant visa for you that you're going to be using, or you are using, to either file for adjustment of status or for the immigrant visa. So technically, yes, you may be deported, okay? But hopefully you are working towards the green card as well. And then if you can receive adjustment of status in the United States, then you will not be deported, all right? Because the process of using the I-130 is also involves, like, why do you need I-130? You need I-130 to use it for green card, right? And the question, more important question is, can you accept that green card? Can you receive it in the United States without leaving the United States? Can you get adjustment of status? Or do you have to leave the United States to use that I-130? I have an excellent video about this, guys, on my YouTube channel, who can receive green card in the United States without leaving the United States. It truly explains to you who that person may be. So you can save some money, watch that video, and you will save some money. Don't have to pay for consultation. Only if you have questions afterwards, or you want to verify your understanding of the information you receive from that video, then it makes sense, to pay for the consultation for you. Thank you guys very much for your hearts. Don't forget to share the stream. Help me out. You are the best crowd on TikTok. YouTubers are also very good, very active, guys. There are very unique nicknames sometimes, and I'm afraid I may mispronounce them and they will sound like something else. So you know who you are, and thank you very much for the gift, but I cannot pronounce that. I cannot pronounce that nickname because it makes me blush. I just can't. Hi, Eva. Good. We voted for it. You voted for it? I don't think you voted for it, Eva. You seems to be a nice person. But here is the problem with immigration that I see, a huge one. Well, first of all, the government of the United States, who complains about the illegal immigrants, kind of created this situation by not adjudicating cases on time. It takes 7 to 10 years sometimes for a person to get a resolution on their asylum claim. During this time, naturally, the person is going to have children in the United States, going to invest into some property, will be paying taxes. And by the time the immigration case is decided, it's really hard to leave the United States when your life is here. Wouldn't you think that? It's just a reasonable consequences for absolutely horrible delays that we see. Sometimes those delays caused by circumstances beyond anybody's control, like COVID-19 pandemic, and at times they're caused by inefficiency of the system. So that's number one. Number two, there is a big issue right now. If you're watching, and I'm sure you're watching the ICE raids, you see that there are cameras with those ICE raids, and every time they show us people who they arrest who have heavy criminal convictions. Like, not a joke. Known gang members who were convicted of violent crimes, serious violent crimes, assault, extortion, sometimes even worse. Question: what happened? You guys didn't know that these people were in the communities prior to January 20th? Why nobody made the communities safe? Because now everything looks like only immigrants are only those people, but that's just not true, because there are immigrants who are productive members of our society, who are paying taxes, who are long-term residents, who have family ties, and they don't have any criminal convictions whatsoever. They may be volunteers at the local churches and schools. They may be working as EMT if you have a work permit. Whoever, you may have a successful business, right? And there are those people who nobody wants in their communities, not even immigrants. Nobody wants those people around. The question is why, again, the system is so inefficient that it just didn't do anything about it. And now everybody is measured against the same measure, and everybody's kind of put in the same situation. Those people who are really truly deserving to have a pathway to citizenship, and those people who nobody wants. So that's a big problem, Eva. I think you would agree that there are some nice immigrants around you, right? Those who help you around your house, those who do your nails, those who clean for you, those who make you coffee in the morning, and people who are dangerous and you don't want them, right? Like, nobody wants them around. Not even their own country wants them. We just saw that when their own country didn't want to take them, right? It's like crazy. So you have to understand that there is a huge inefficiency that has to be addressed. Somebody has to start talking about this, that not all immigrants are the same. And just because previous administration didn't take care of something that was obvious, because now I see these prosecutors who speak out and say, oh yeah, we know that these people are dangerous. They're known gang members. You know it now? You didn't know it prior to January 20th? Something is happening. You tell me what you think about this. You please share your thoughts, because it's just very, very strange, okay? Very, very strange. All right. Let me see. N400, would it be affected under Trump administration? Perhaps it will be affected in terms of they may try to change the citizenship test again, because they tried to do this before. Also, perhaps it will be harder to receive a waiver, that waiver, medical waiver, for those who cannot learn English and history. So that may be. And of course, the vetting process will be much more difficult. I'm talking about offices focusing on the way you received your green card prior to filing for the citizenship. They announced that already. So they will be checking how you entered the United States, if everything was in compliance when you filed for that green card, and if the green card was issued to you legally, all right? So that's very, very important to know. Work with an attorney if you can afford one. At least consult with one if you cannot hire a lawyer for the full process. All right. Let me see. A Russian explaining US law. Well, first of all, I'm not Russian. Pardon your English. I'm not offended with your ignorance. And I have to tell you that I know US immigration law and US Constitution probably better than most people who reside here. In fact, I learned US Constitution probably before you, because I come from the system with a very, very excellent educational background. Not only I learned Constitution of the United States, but also Germany, France, and other major countries in the world. And many of my viewers will attest that the education that they receive in their countries far, far more advanced than some, that people receive in the United States. Even though I did go to an excellent law school here that actually is known for its international law program. All right. And you can read about my background on my website if you are interested in that, of course. But I think many people who reside here need to read the Constitution. And some people who pass the laws, like we just right now we saw from Tennessee, I don't think they know their Constitution, all right? And they're lawmakers. That's truly scary, I have to tell you. What if you have a pending asylum and receive a notification? Let us say the case was closed. It depends on what happened. If you receive such a notification, it may mean that you are actually in court system, and USCIS closed your affirmative asylum case. That's probably the only time when I would think such a message would be appropriate, okay? Otherwise, if you did not opt out to close your case, you did not opt out to close your case, because some people do sometimes, then you have to wait for your interview, all right? That's what I think happened, that you actually belong to immigration courts and not USCIS, all right? Will EB3 date move or not? Guys, really do not know. I do not know. Nobody knows this. We can only predict what may happen, but very often those predictions are complete garbage, okay? Will it move? I would hope so, but I do not know. Every month it moves a little bit, usually, right? Will we see a huge jump? I don't think so. I wouldn't be that optimistic, not at this time. But that it will progress slowly, that's for sure, all right? If I have TPS, can I apply for EB3? All right, EB3 is a petition that reserves your immigrant visa. That's what it is, okay? EB3 is a petition. Can someone file for EB3 for you while you have TPS? Absolutely. The question is, when this EB3 petition is approved, how and when the priority date is current, will you be able to use it for adjustment of status if you have TPS? Adjustment of status, remember, is when you're applying for green card in the United States. With TPS, you should be able to. But for some people, travel out of the United States on a TPS travel document will be necessary before you're going to file for that adjustment of status, okay? So talk to a lawyer, see if you want to invest into EB3 process, because that's a lengthy process, and employer will have to, if they don't have in-house counsel and want to hire outside counsel, it's going to be expensive for them, all right? Oh, hi, Mike. Do you think the green card holder going to be rated by ICE for simple DUI, no aggravated felony? Right now, simple DUI is not a deportable offense, but there was proposal to make one, all right, to be deportable offense. So right now, I think you're going to be okay, all right? You should be fine. If I volunteer self-deportation due to overstay, can I ask file waiver to waive 10-year bar before I leave? Probably not. There is no opportunity for somebody to ask for unlawful presence bar to be waived prior to leaving unless you're filing for I-601A waiver. There is one exception to this interesting rule, and it involves you being placed in removal proceedings and asking for voluntarily departure during the early stage of your removal case. There is like a loophole in the law that allows you to avoid unlawful presence bar, but certain conditions must be met. So if you are in removal proceedings and you would like to ask for voluntarily departure, it's a relief. It's not self-deportation, it's different. You have to apply for it. And you do have unlawful presence that you are hoping to erase from your record with that move. Consult with an attorney and see if you're going to be a candidate for this particular way out of your situation, all right? But remember something very important. Just because you're going to try to get rid of this unlawful presence and bar, it does not mean that you will qualify easily for non-immigrant visa after you overstay. Some people may overstay things like F1 visa or J1. A simple overstay of F1 or J1 does not cause accumulation of unlawful presence. So if you overstayed your J1 work and travel by 10 years, you never filed to change status to B1, never received a denial, and now you want to leave. Technically, unlawful presence bar does not apply to you. You don't need a waiver, okay? You don't need a waiver. So that's how interesting immigration laws are in the United States. Hi, Miss, how much time do I have to wait until an asylum office hearing applied in 2016? I wish I would be able to give you a better answer, but unfortunately, nobody knows that. Some people from 2016 have been already called for the asylum interview. Remember that in the past year, there was a stop on asylum interviews because all the offices were concentrating on people from Afghanistan, those who escaped Afghanistan, came here on parole, and were asking for asylum. Now, I think the policies are going to change, and you're probably going to be called for the interview within the next year, I would think, okay? Please, can I go on visit in United States from Dubai with my brother invitation from the United States? It depends on whether or not the United States consulate is going to give you a visa, all right? Go ahead. Some people just never learn. So if you guys are going to be using this, opportunity to scare immigrants, I'm going to be blocking you because immigrants are already scared. Nobody needs your comments, okay? What if I came over the border? Can my military wife file for a green card for me without my I-94? All right, so you cross the border and now you are in the United States, but you do have a spouse who's in the military. That spouse may file for parole in place for you. This is going to solve the issue of lack of being paroled or inspected for your adjustment of status purposes. So yes, you will be able to fix your status, okay? If you have unfiled taxes and have owed taxes, does it affect your application? It really depends what you're filing for, but if you are in immigration court, most judges, even for things like asylum, started asking for the proof of you filing your taxes. They believe it's important to determine your good moral character, so please take care of the tax situation, work with your accountant, and they will be able to help you out to file those amended tax returns, okay? All right, what if I came over, right. I have maybe a Canadian ban for 5 years, and I don't know the reason. Can I travel to other European countries? Unfortunately or fortunately, I do not deal with Canadian immigration laws at all right? If you do not know the reason, I'm not sure why you have a ban. Typically, Canada would not accept people with criminal convictions. So if you do have a criminal conviction, you should consult with the European Union attorney who's going to be who's going to advise you whether or not it's going to be a concern if you're trying to come to Europe. Okay. Hi, Marco. My wife is a war refugee from Ukraine. Can you help us with U.S. citizenship? Marco, it depends on your wife's status. If she has pathway to green card and your status, all right? Because just because you are from Ukraine, if let's say you are on U4U or TPS, by itself, that kind of status doesn't provide for pathway to green card, okay? So we need to see if she can file for something or she filed already for something that actually will help her to get a green card first and then citizenship, right? Hi, Bliss. I was told my husband can't invite me to the United States because he has a felony record. Oh, yes. Some US citizens with felony records that relate to endangering welfare of a child will not be able to successfully file that I-130 petition because they will be barred by Adam Walsh Act. Okay, but not every felony is a problem. Some felonies will not result in that ban. Okay, so just because it's a felony doesn't mean that they will not be able to, but certain felonies. Okay. All right. Let me see. Let's take some questions from YouTube. How are you guys doing? I'm sure you are eager to receive answers to your question. Hi, Jamie. Entering the United States illegally is a misdemeanor, but it is a crime. Sure. Nobody said that it's not a crime. Who said that it's not a crime? Entering the United States can be misdemeanor if you did it the first time, and when the second time it becomes a felony. Sure. But interestingly enough, still people who enter without inspection may qualify for certain immigration benefits, such as VAWA, Asylum, Special Immigrant Juvenile Status, U visa, T visa, maybe something else I forgot. So now tell me, please, all right, what do you think about that? So one federal law says it's a crime. However, it becomes only punishable if the prosecutor files charges against you. Another federal law says that despite that you committed that crime and you don't even have to file for the waiver, you can get green card in the United States. That's just the truth, okay? So you see, who was saying I don't need it? I do need some. I do know some of the United States laws. Somebody told me that I don't know anything. I know something. Hi, Shabir. I have a bona fide EAD and U visa pending. Is it a problem? No, I think you on the deferred action situation, so you should be fine. Okay. And if you guys, by the way, have deferred action, you also can have real ID. All right. All right. What about, hold on. Hi, Nancy. What about U visa with a car accident? Well, if the person in the car accident, if there was a participant in a car accident who was charged with a crime and you are the victim, then sure, you may qualify for the U visa as long as law enforcement, the judge or prosecutor who've been working on the case would sign that U visa certification for you. I've never seen ever a U visa certification signed by a judge. Usually it is signed by DA or by the police. Thank you, Coffee House, for your gift. Thank you guys very much. Talk about the DV lottery information. Hi, I am Morgil. DV lottery is important, but we will be filing for it in October, okay? DV lottery season is over. Now we have to wait till May to get the results. So there is nothing much to talk about in relation with the DV lottery at this time, because the deadlines for DV lottery is just not present at the moment, right? To file for the DV lottery, you have to do it within the open period. It's usually a month in fall, and you get the results starting early May, usually, all right? So that's information about the DV lottery. Hi, Itzel. Burglary in my record 11 years ago, and I still got approved for DACA 10 years ago. Laken Rally Act, can it affect me? Yes, of course. That's the problem with this Laken Rally Act, that it doesn't really provide for any exceptions, right? DACA may be expiring, and then you are unlawfully present here once it expires, and then Laken Rally Act makes a huge difference in your situation. So for everyone who has conviction related to theft, please consult with a criminal defense attorney to see if you can challenge that conviction. Sometimes it's possible to reopen the old conviction and then close the case with a better disposition, depending on the facts of the case. A lot of you took the plea because you did not know your rights, okay? And now a good criminal defense attorney can help you out with that. It's going to take some time, but use this time while you are in authorized status, like deferred action, and Laken Rally Act cannot be used against you. Use this time to fix, or trying to fix, that conviction situation, all right? All right. Hi, Helena. I have a final order of removal plus I-130 approved in 2022 filed motion. Still no answer from USCIS. How long will it take to respond? Hi, DK. If you have a final order of removal, you were supposed to file a motion to reopen with the court usually, unless you were an arriving alien, and then you can proceed with adjustment of status, filing it with USCIS. So it's not going to be USCIS, but EOIR who is supposed to be responding to you, okay? Now, you say that you don't have answer. Well, maybe it's not such a terrible thing, because while you're having this pending motion, right, while you have this motion pending, you actually have hope that it may be decided in your favor. So if ICE does come after you, you can file for that stay of removal, arguing that you have a chance to fix your immigration status. It very often it helps, right? If you have a pending motion to reopen. Okay. Hi, Lasha. Hi, Alina. If EB1A is approved, how long I-45 takes? Will I need to go for the interview? Hopefully you filed it concurrently, right? And your I-45 is already pending. Will you need to go for the interview? USCIS is going to decide that. It depends on their policies and if they believe they would like to clear up some facts prior to granting your green card. Typically, it takes about 8 to 9 months for I-45 to be decided after your priority date is current. All right. Can I file I-45 while my I-130 is still pending? Yes, if your priority date is current. Can I schedule a consultation? Of course, Marco. To schedule a consultation with me, guys, you can call my office, 917-885-2261, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Saturday, or you can go to my website, shautsova.com. Okay? And there is like a button there, schedule consultation. I do have, like, I'm booked for a week or two in advance right now, but if you call my office, they may have like an opening if you have an urgent situation. All right. Can I do SIJS for my son, please? Hi, Nancy. Can you do SIJS, special immigrant juvenile status? can be filed by one parent. It's fine. You can be a guardian for your own son as long as you can demonstrate that another biological parent abandoned, neglected, or abused your child, or the child suffered on a similar basis. Okay. Thank you very much, Coffee House, for your gifts. So that's what's happening with special immigrant juvenile status. First, you will have to go to family court and get guardianship order and an order for special findings granted. And then, prior to child turning 21, you have to file for the special immigrant juvenile petition. Thank you, Naveed, very much for your gift. Can U.S. citizen divorce his Yemeni wife in New York, Yemeni American Embassy, and use that document as divorce decree? All right, so can you divorce a foreign spouse who is in a different country in New York? New York has special jurisdictions, special rules about the jurisdiction for divorces. And if you meet the criteria, you will be able to use New York courts to finalize your divorce. I'm not the divorce attorney, but I know that much, that you have to meet certain qualifications, and then you may file for divorce, even against the spouse who is overseas in New York courts under certain circumstances, okay? Hi, user 579, 601A form that I didn't file yet. All right, tell me what the question is, please. I was granted withholding or removal. Am I safe? You should be safe because you have the protection, you have the work permit, the judge told ICE not to deport you. As long as that order is in place, they should not be touching you, all right? What's going to happen to Afghans who came with CBP-1 and they have 2-year parole? File for asylum as soon as you can. By the way, for those of you who are in danger of losing your TPS, temporary protected status, you need to know that if you do lose it, you will be able to file for asylum, and 1-year filing deadline will not be used against you, okay? So if you're feeling that you are afraid, unable, or unwilling to return back to your home country due to the fear of persecution based on a protected ground, which is nationality, race, political opinion, religion, membership in a particular social group, please consider this option. We just got an announcement that Trump administration plans, I guess, to revoke TPS designation for people from Venezuela. Now, there was no, to my knowledge, official notice published about that, and it's only news reports so far. But it very well may happen, and if it does happen, then know that you may file for asylum. All right. Hi, Naveed. We have already filed for asylum and we have a final court in 2027. Can I do asylum after 9 years or 5 years? In the United States, if you maintain lawful status like TPS during this time, yes, you will be able to. If you've been in the United States for longer than a year and now you want to file for asylum, you can still do that successfully if you qualify for asylum and if you qualify for exceptions to 1-year filing deadline. Being in lawful status, such as TPS or parole, will excuse that 1-year filing deadline. Change in country conditions that triggers your eligibility for asylum also is going to help you to avoid the consequences of missing that 1-year filing deadline and changing your personal circumstances sometimes as well. Okay, so there are some exceptions to 1-year filing deadline. Hi, Denisha, thank you very much for your gift. What if my case is approved and closed, but have not received the permanent resident card, I guess? Am I safe? Or why haven't you received the card? If it was issued, but you're still waiting for it, you should be safe. Have the paperwork showing that you were approved, okay? That notice, so you should be fine. Yes. VAWA work permit approved. Does it mean my case is approved? No, no, no. It does not mean that unless it's C31 work permit. Then it means that your VAWA is approved, but it doesn't mean that your green card is approved. Guys, there are people who have approved VAWA, but they cannot qualify for a green card. So they may stay in the United States, they are granted deferred action, and they have that work permit, but they cannot get a green card in the United States, okay? Hi, Elmer, is it posted in the United States website about the ending for TPS for Venezuela? I didn't see such an announcement, no. They have to publish this announcement in the Federal Registry for it to be valid. So far, it doesn't mean that they're not working on it, but so far I have not seen such an update, okay? Hi, Hung. I have a question. I have a friend. She had the work permit, Social Security, for a couple of years, but now the work permit expired. She's renewing it. So she is renewing it. So is she get the ICE check? Does she get deportation or not? Well, if your friend is qualified to get that work permit, it usually means something is approved for her or something is pending, okay? Depending on this underlying ground for the work permit, if she has lawful status, then ICE will not have basis for placing her in removal proceedings, all right? All right, let me see if we have more questions on YouTube. Been married, hold on. Been married for a number of years, recently divorced, have I-751 petition. If you guys had a real marriage, but it fell apart, and you're a conditional resident, you can file for removal of that conditions on your own using form I-751, which can be filed at any time based on the waiver. You don't have to wait for that 90-day window to file for it. And you just have to have strong evidence that the marriage was real. Or maybe you qualify on other grounds, like you were abused, for example, okay? What about people with green card? Can they travel to Europe? Green card doesn't, by itself, gives you a right to visit European Union. Usually, you still have to have a visa to visit certain countries. But actually, each country there has their own rules, has their own regulations. So you should check with the consulate of the country you want to visit if in your status you need a visa to enter that country, okay? Thank you very much, guys, for your encouraging words. What about people with green card? Yes. All right. Hi, Stella. I have I-220B, but I reopened my case. And now my 42B case is pending, waiting for available visa. All right. So if it's waiting for available visa, it most likely means that you had your trial and the judge indicated that they would approve your case as long as your qualifying relative is not going to age out, like your kid is not going to turn 21, all right? You should be all right, all right? You're already in removal proceedings if you have 42 pending, 42B pending, okay? All right, yes, guys, with withholding or removal, you should be fine. As long as that withholding or removal is a valid order, has not been revoked, changed, you should be okay. When I apply asylum to court, I have to write court name of Chicago Immigration Office. I don't know what you mean by that. Guys, if you're working on your case by yourself, please, if you have to file documents with immigration court, You have to use Immigration Court Practice Manual, all right? And it's not that you have to write the name of the court. You have to have this, what we call a cover page, explaining that what the filing is. It has your A number. It has the name of the court at the top. It has the name of the judge. It has the date of your next hearing. And at the bottom, we say what it is. Respondent's application for asylum, withholding or removal, and relief under Convention Against Torture. That's going to be your cover page. I wish I had something here that I could show you what it looks like. The problem is, I've heard that the government took off their website the most recent Immigration Court Practice Manual. I haven't checked today if they substituted it with something else, but I'm sure you can file copies online saved and people have been reposting them, just so you know what you need to do if you have to represent yourself in court without the help of an attorney, okay? Or you can just ask a lawyer maybe to pay them whatever to give you some samples, okay? If you cannot find them online. I think it's still going to be better than having your submission denied, not accepted because you didn't present it in the right format. I just last week appeared for a master court hearing, and I saw that happened to a person who couldn't afford an attorney, and he tried to file for change of address, and the judge did not accept it because the judge said, well, you did it wrong. This is not how it should be done, and I'm not here to teach you how it should be done. And I don't know if that person will be able to figure out how to do it, because now, as you know, Trump administration stated that no organization that receives federal funding shall be helping immigrants in immigration court, those who don't have lawyers. So I don't know what's going to happen, all right? But try to do your best to present documents in the right format. Try to do your best to learn how to do this, to avoid that, rejection of your submission, right? So Laken Raleigh Act is retroactive. Well, it reads as such. It says convicted of, right? It says convicted of. So I would think that perhaps it will be challenged as not retroactive, but we're going to see what's going to happen. How long do I wait for the appointment after I-601A waiver is approved? All right, Vanessa, so this is what you need to do. Once your I-601A waiver is approved, you need to finalize your case with the National Visa Center. Your petitioner will have to submit affidavit of support. You have to submit your Form DS-260 and supporting documents. And then, usually within 90 to 120 days, most consulates are going to give you that appointment. Once you have that appointment, you're going to have to travel to your home country and have a medical exam down there, okay, prior to your appointment. And usually you spend no more than like 10 days in your home country. And then you come back and you're a green card holder. That's what you need to do. Well, guys, thank you very much for tonight. It's been about an hour. Thank you for your questions. And I know I wasn't able to answer all of you guys' questions, but at least I tried to do my best to answer some questions. All right, I'll be back this week, probably over the weekend, to help you out more, to answer more questions, to share more information. And please comment if you're watching me on YouTube. Ask your questions so we can discuss them during the next live. And I guarantee you that we're going to have more updates by the end of the week. If you see every time you open Google, something pops up, something new, something unbelievable. It's been 10 days, and I feel like it's been 100 years, right? Because there is so much information and stressful information, stressful updates. So we're going to see what's going to happen. Stay safe, know your rights, tons of sources online explain what you need to do during the ICE encounter. I actually saw a video where a girl, she did exactly what I stated, and I don't think she did it because of my advice, but I would advise everybody to do the same. She was reading to ICE officers what she wanted to tell them, that she was not giving them consent to enter her home. She was reading her rights. Why? Because she was very stressed out. And when you're stressed out, you don't remember what you need to say. But if you have that memo, those little notes handy, and you can pull them out and you just say, I do not consent for you to enter my house without a judicial warrant. I do not consent to answer your questions. I exercise my Fifth Amendment right. And she was able to push the ICE out of her property. And she did great. She's like a little girl. I don't know. She looked like she was a teenager, maybe her early 20s. That's what I gathered. They actually didn't show her face, but that was the vibe, that she was very young. And she did fantastic. She was able to pull out her little notes, and she was able to, withstand the pressure and compose herself when she was stressed out. And that's what I also tell people. Most of you are going to be extremely stressed out if you're in this stressful situation. So have your notes ready, like write it down, what they say online, what you need to do, and just read it out loud, okay? Hopefully you won't even be in this situation. Most of you have something pending. Most of you have been here for more than 2 years. Most of you don't have criminal convictions, despite what the media is saying. And hopefully, instead of all the stress, we're going to see soon constructive proposals as to how to address for sure and for real the immigration problem in the United States. That 11 million people need pathway to citizenship, right? And I very much hope that US citizens who have common sense are going to start advocating for that, rather than mass deportations of everybody who they believe, they do not want next to them. They don't really understand what they're asking for. Because as I said, the problem right now that I see is that people with criminal convictions and heavy criminal convictions are being put in the same group as people who are good contributors and who actually help to develop the United States. All right. So I'm going to leave it at that. And thank you guys very much for today. I got like lots of hearts tonight. Thank you guys on TikTok very much. And I hope to see you soon. Don't forget to subscribe to my social media. And we're going to see each other soon.